A new report is accusing the Nigerian military of perpetrating human rights violations in camps for those displaced by Boko Haram. The country's presidency says the Amnesty International allegations against Nigerian security forces lacks any credibility. Mirungu has more.
The human rights group claims Nigeria's military, in its fight against Boko Haram, has been committing atrocities against the same people it's meant to protect.
You'll see a soldier with food in his hand and he'd say, "If you like me, take this food." They would say, "Come with us," and we would think of our children crying for food. If you'd accept the food, he'd come back to have intercourse with you, and if you refused, he'd use force to rape you.
Nigeria's presidency says such accounts fell short of evidential narration. According to the Amnesty report, interviewees said when the military conducted operations in their villages, they burnt down homes and opened fire at remaining residents indiscriminately. In the allegations, dozens, including about 32 children, are said to have died from being denied either food or water or both. The findings from an inquiry by the Nigerian presidency launched in August of 2017 are still not public, and the Nigerian presidency holds that the new report by Amnesty lacks credibility. Since 2015, various humanitarian organizations have reported sexual violence and deaths in camps for internally displaced people in northeast Nigeria, and while the authorities have frequently promised to investigate such reports, there's been no tangible action to address the concerns. Mirungu, CGTN.
Well, let's get to you more now on the claims made by Amnesty International. CGTN's Phil Ihaza joins me from the Nigerian capital, Abuja. Phil, of course, Nigeria strongly denying these war crime allegations being made by Amnesty International. Just tell us more about the official response.
Thank you, Lindy. Well, currently, as we speak, the Amnesty International is holding a press conference here in the nation's capital, Abuja, to officially release the detailed report against the Nigerian military on, human rights abuses, especially rape cases amongst women. But, the Nigerian military has maintained its stance, describing this report, as baseless, also stating that, several soldiers have lost their lives in, sacrificed their lives in the fight against insurgency, also guarding these victims of the fight against insurgency at the camps. The presidency has also released a statement saying that the report, the integrity of the report should be questioned, especially as the report is based or attributed to people without description or identification. Just on Wednesday, many protesters from civil society groups also protested at the office of the Amnesty International here in Abuja, describing it as a plot to destabilize the country.
Well, as you say, the government is saying it lacks integrity, that it's baseless, but nevertheless, this report does raise questions about the Nigerian government's ability or capacity to assist those people displaced by Boko Haram. Phil, are these camps, these IDP camps, actually a safe environment for what are clearly very vulnerable communities?
Thank you, Lindy. Well, the Nigerian government has said that the IDP camps are temporal settlements, for these displaced persons, which report says there are over 2 million in Nigeria currently. Well, these camps are also supposed to provide medical attention, food and relief materials, and rehabilitation exercises to these victims at the camp. The camps are also heavily guarded by security forces, especially soldiers who have repeatedly foiled suicide bomb attacks by, the insurgents. Now, there are, however, reports by the Amnesty International saying that these soldiers present at the camps are the ones involved in human rights abuses. State governments, NGOs, the National Emergency Management Agency, as well as well-meaning Nigerians, they have been involved in donating food and relief materials. So as we speak, that's the state at the camps. They can actually cater for the victims, as we speak.
Well, thank you so much, Phil Ihaza, joining us there from Abuja.